Forever is the strangest thing. It's shorter than you think. No think. Longing is the music of our sphere. The gift of life is never more or less. It starts at any time you like and ends in just a wink. Pass me the lighter, baby.
Pomarie whakalowalahi atu. My name is Elliot Ikilei. Welcome to the show. This show is called Monday Night Musings, and this is a bit of a new one that I just want to sort of bring out just to have a bit of a chat about some of the things that are going on over the week. Just a few things, nothing too major. We'll only go for maybe about half an hour, but we'll see as it takes us, you know. So I just wanted to bring it out there. I've also got my TikTok camera going as well, so if I sort of deviate a little bit, you'll see that's why. All right, other housekeeping, emergency evacuation, hey, that's your house, you got to do what you got to do to keep your guys safe. All right, in terms of comments, please chuck in many comments as you want. You know me, some of you already know how I roll. I love to have a good chat, agreement, disagreement as well. I think that's really important to engage in. So this Monday Night Musings, really what it's about is just talking about stuff that's popped up over the week and anything that's really big. So I want to get into it. Let's have a bit of a discussion about some things. Again, chuck in your comments, chuck in your agreements, your disagreements, and everything like that. Well, the first thing I wanted to bring up, it was something that was really crack up as it came up from the Greens. Have a listen into this one.
Such a broad ambit to begin with, as is your organisation's position, that you deny the extensive academic and historical research and jurisprudence that accepts that Māori did not cede sovereignty and that Article 2 rights are about providing for the right of iwi Māori to sovereignty, tino rangatiratanga. If we don't accept that premise, which would force the Crown into a position of going against all evidence and all evaluation, then then should we also not accept the proposals you're making for this legislation, given they are founded in a tissue of myths?
Because
I'm
I
permitted.
totally and fundamentally disagree with your statement. The evidence is overwhelming in my judgment that Maori did cede sovereignty and knew they were ceding sovereignty. I also understand this is the government's position. The government has said we will not settle with any iwi which does not accept the fact that the Maori tribe ceded sovereignty in signing the treaty. Let's agree to disagree on that point, but it's a fundamental disagreement.
Can I have a follow-up stop on that, Madam Chair?
Yeah, just one supplementary, yeah.
Yeah, so the follow-up sup is that given the sort of ideological position that you advance, which is a form of, I would say, extreme neoliberalism, the free market, capitalist exploitation of resources, is the reason that you are so threatened by upholding the interpretation of the treaty which says that Māori didn't cede sovereignty and therefore have a right to be involved in things that affect them in their rohi? Are you threatened by that because it's a barrier to that free market exploitation of New Zealand resources?
It has nothing to do with my view on free markets or otherwise. It's a fundamental concept that is based on New Zealand's long history that Maori did cede sovereignty in 1840 and knew they were ceding sovereignty in 1840. There's no other way of interpreting the speeches made at the time or made again in 1860. Be that as it may, let's not debate that question here. The question is, how can we make the RMA, of the bills to replace the RMA, effective for all New Zealanders?
We could ask Māori what they think about that.
Ask all New Zealanders what they think about that. Winston Peters is Maori. He said we want no reference to race in the legislation.
So, of course, that was Steve Abel. He's of the Greens, and he's sitting there trying to do that rewriting of history, which says that, hey, Māori did not cede sovereignty. I'm sorry, of course we did. And as Matua Don clearly points out, we did cede sovereignty, and we confirmed that 20 years later at the Kohimarama conference. And it's all transcribed in there, it's all easygoing. So Steve just trying to do his best to try to knock the ideas of equality off the table, and he's trying his best to fight for some inequality. It's quite strange, so extraordinary. So I love how Matua Don sort of rolled it hard. Already we've got a couple of good comments in there. James, well, we've got comments in there. James, do you like that the Jews have pushed up the price at the pump? James, I do not think that this is a Jews conspiracy or some sort of Jewish conspiracy at all. I would say that it is a reaction to what's going on in the conflict. Do I think that the petrol companies need to put up the price as quick as they did? No, not at all. I don't believe that for 1 second. I'm sure that they'll be doing some type of discourse around, we're just future-proofing in order to strengthen and make our supplies more resilient. The usual corporate speak. I believe that. But no, not at no point do I believe that it's some sort of Jewish conspiracy at all. Thank you for your comment. Trevor's jumped in there. Come on, spill the beans. When are you standing for Parliament and what party? A new one or an established one? Trevor, whoo, hey, tough question. There have been some queries and discourse areas. Look, I think we all know that the party who's really come out has been New Zealand First. They've really strengthened themselves. And I think that's partly to do with Pauline Hanson's One Nation, who have stood up, and Pauline Hanson herself, 30 years she's been stood up for Australia, Australian people, Australian values. Whereas over here, Winston is the man who really has. Now, don't get me wrong, there's been a few off-roads taken, and yeah, they went woke at one stage, but I like how they fixed it up. So I do like New Zealand First. New Zealand First definitely so far has my support for them. There are some other areas who've been asking a few things, but we'll see what happens. Trevor, great question. We'll see what happens. All right, all good in the hood. Just on TikTok, we've had some great chats there. Every Kiwi has the right to representation. Absolutely right, Marty. Totally right. Every Kiwi does have the right to representation. So when we are talking about things such as the RMA topic, hey, we need to ask all New Zealanders. Don't just ask me because I whakapapa Māori. We need to ask all New Zealanders. And to somehow place me as above everyone else here, simply because I have Te Atiawa Ngāti Raukawa blood, is quite disgraceful. It's disgusting. New Zealanders, we're New Zealand. We're Kiwis. So we need to treat us all equally, and that means equal representation. All right, really, really important. Moana, Te Rauparaha, they had to surrender our stronghold. I apologise, I'm not sure entirely what that's referring to, but thank you for your comment. Now, I think that's a wonderful little point there that Steve Abel got smoked by Matua Don Brash. Great to see. I think one of the big news, of course, is this one here. Have a look at this. This here is the shape of Parliament. If we have a look here, this is the RNZ political poll. Now, of course, that of course means that it's not entirely a non-partisan poll. I think it's not controversial for us to say that RNZ has got a habit of supporting the left wing, the liberal area. And on this poll, though, it is showing something which we do see as a trend, which is the Labour Party are solid. They're looking strong. They've got a strong, solid base of support there. Now, I find that quite fascinating. If we were to see the Parliament setup, look at that. That is straight down the guts. But effectively, what we're seeing there, just for our TikTok fam, is that it's split in half. Right now, if there was an election based on the latest poll results, it would show that there's an absolute chopped in half. That on one half you've got the coalition, New Zealand First, ACT, National Party, and on the other side you've got the Labour Party, Te Pāti Māori, and the Greens. Now, my big question is why? Okay, let me just say this. We'll chat about the Parliament. Maybe that's part of it. But have a look at those numbers. You've got Labour, again, this is a poll, but Labour sitting at 35.6%. National Party is at 30.8%. New Zealand First, according to that one, is at 10.6%. Greens 10.1%. ACT 7%. Te Pāti Māori 3.2%. Top 2%, and the others are at 0.7%. Now, there are polls coming out all the time. All right, so there are polls coming out all the time. Some are higher than some are lower than some, but they're all roughly saying the same thing. And it's fascinating that the Labour Party still has a solid amount of support. And this is actually confusing to me. Perhaps it's because I focus in on, this is going to sound real passive-aggressive, and I don't mean it to sound passive-aggressive, but it feels as if people aren't quite looking at what has happened in history, what's gone on before. In order to disregard the brutality of which the Labour Party did to New Zealanders and New Zealand society and New Zealand democracy, what they did to us over the last, from 2017 to of course the changeover, what they did was nothing short of brutal and cruel, and yet at the same time incompetent. I mean, have a think about this. Kiwi Build, failure. They tried to push the smoking the weed. That was their little distraction tactic. Reduction of childhood poverty, failure. They managed to just shove in so many benefits that it looked a bit good, but once you dug through the numbers, utter failure. The Labour Party tried somehow to push Pharmac funding for transgender reassignment surgery before funding for cancer drugs. This is how bad they were at policy making. Let's not even, we've got the entirety of the lockdown and mandate crisis that they built for us when they went around different select committees and basically cut through and gave 2 days here, 2 days there, even though it was nationwide importance type topics. The gun confiscation and buyback process, the most brutal abortion bill being brought into New Zealand, that no other place in the world has more brutal abortion bill. Well, now I think the UK has, as of a couple of days ago, they now engage with New Zealand for a pro-death culture, pro-death policy culture. So it's quite fascinating that all of this money that they just vomited out, and they spent so much money getting things wrong time and time and time again. Now we're looking at the polls and there's still a solid support for Labour. And I'll be honest, and partly I wonder if this is reminding me of Pacifica and Labour. Pacifica people and Labour. Why do we vote Labour? A couple of reasons, but one of the big reasons is the Dawn Raids, is that the trauma of the Dawn Raids, that yes, that people would have had to have been kicked out because they were overstaying, but the brutal way in which it was done, smashing our doors at 3 a.m, going and visiting schools, going straight to workplaces, just grabbing them out of areas. The way it was done was quite horrific. That trauma translated out to have Pacifica people effectively go for the Labour Party. But of course, the Labour Party is the one who started the Dawn raids. Jacinda Ardern her father was one of the OG Dawn raiders. That's how crazy it was. And yet the Labour Party basically have Pacifica as brown donkeys serving them as vote plantations. It's a fascinating social phenomenon that's out there. But I mean, for yourselves who are out there, I'm really curious. Why do you think? Why do we have so many people supporting one of the most disastrous parties in the most disastrous party in recent history, and I would argue one of, if not the most disastrous government that we've had since 1852. That's how massive I would put the 2017 to 2023 Labour Party government. It's that bad. Ardern first, and then taken on by Hipkins. It was extraordinary, just extraordinary. James has put up another comment here. No Christian can vote for ACT, Labour, Greens National, or Māori Party. James, I think for about half of those parties, I would agree. There are clear policies which those parties absolutely are antithetical to Christianity, to the probably the big ones, if you want to put it as the 10 Commandments, probably that style. I will say, however, you could arguably vote for National if you're a Christian. I wouldn't. I think that the non-Christian and the anti-Christian sentiment in the National Party is a bit too high. You've still got solid people like Simeon Brown, Chris Pink. You've got some good, strong people still in there. And yes, some of the decisions made by some of the party members, I mean, who was it? Erica Stanford, for example, she voted all the way for the most brutal abortion law, including preventing babies from having painkillers given to them at the late stage abortion, and even stepping in there and saying, no, we're not going to consider the idea of making it that if a baby is born alive through abortion, that we have to look after them. The Erica Stanford voted against that as well. So it's quite a fascinating one. I'm not entirely sure. James has come up with another comment there as what he thinks might be the case. And there he's got, because women are naturally more compassionate and agreeable, and secular women are controlled by Satan and twist the good into things promoted by progressive parties. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure about that, but love the fact that you're commenting out there. It's excellent there. We've got another comment there, again by Trevor. Hobbs' Pledge, Taxpayers Union, Free Speech Union, NZCPR, the platform, Family First, etc., etc. How many subscribers? Turn them into votes. Can you see where I'm going with this? Trevor, I got you. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying under what you're saying. I've got you. And I tend to agree. And I think that the subscribers of these pretty much mostly conservative and with some libertarian voters in that mix. You're absolutely right. You know what? I think this is a good segue here. I'm going to put up something here. Have a quick look at this. You'll know where I'm going with this as well.
Simply, what do we fix? The deeper question is, who are we as a nation and as a people, and what are we building for? And that is where hope begins. You see, the vision from this party and from its leader is simple. It's about families being strengthened, parents being respected and asked for their voice of consent. Children are given both care and clarity. Young people are equipped and not just educated. Communities are connected and people feel like they belong. When I speak about strengthening families, I want to be part of this team, to lend my own experiences in building strong communities. In my early days in working in community, I helped lead fathering initiatives where men who had never been shown what it meant to be present as a dad were created spaces where they could tell their stories, the good, the bad, and the broken, and begin rebuilding their role in children's lives. Do you know what we saw? We saw the light come on of hopefulness, and it was powerful. When fathers reconnected, families strengthened. When families strengthened, communities stabilized. Because the truth is, a nation is only as strong as its homes. And right now, we cannot ignore what is happening. You see, in some cases, 1 in 20 children has no father even registered on their birth certificate. And for many others, around a third of the fathers are no longer actively involved within just a few years of their child's birth. This is not about beating down on dads. This is about giving them hope. This is about saying to our children and to our families, we need you to be strong. We need to rebuild. This is not just a statistic. That is a generation growing up without guidance, consistency, and connection. When we restore fathers, we restore the family. When we restore the family, we restore the nation. Rebuilding from the inside out, restoring what has been lost, and strengthening what must endure. At the heart of this journey and choice to return to the political arena is something deeply personal to me, and I believe to all of us. It's a responsibility not just for today, but for those who will come after us, for our children and for our grandchildren and for the generations to come. Because if we do nothing, if we stay silent, if we sit in our armchairs and in our homes and criticize and critique, but have not stood to do what is right, then we are complicit. Our silence does not give us a way out. Because the question is not only what kind of country we inherit, but what kind of country we want to leave behind. That is why I'm stepping forward to serve and to contribute to the party of New Zealand First and to its leader, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
So there you have it, folks. There you have it. Alpha Ngaro has now joined New Zealand First. He made that speech and then he followed up with it at the State of the Nation by Winston Peters, by the Honourable Winston Peters. So that's a massive deal, and I think a lot of the Conservatives and the Christians will definitely sort of rally up there. I think it's really strong and solid. And it's really interesting that New Zealand First really they're building really strongly. And I see that when One Nation came out massively, it was really after that Bondi Beach, the jihadist assault that went after the Jews who were at the beach. When they murdered those people, the One Nation really went out there and just did what they do, which they've never changed. They spoke up for all Australians, and they really did stand up and really advocated for them. So well done, good on them, good stuff. You've also got that Reform, and I believe there's actually even an offshoot of Reform over in the UK. I'm trying to think, perhaps you can help me out, just remind me who that is, but there's a offshoot now, and some of the guys, some peeps have been texting me and sending me messages about that other party that's from, I believe he's from a farming background, he's the one leading the charge on that. Oh my God, I feel embarrassed now because I can't quite remember what it is, it's off on top of my head, but that's an offshoot from Reform. I'll be honest, I don't think it's a very good idea. I think if you've got issues within the party, work it out within there. If Nigel Farage has started to go offshoot, and okay, I get that, but if you can, man, you want to sort it out. You don't want to start splintering everything off. User AHA1689, Elliot, you're trusting Winston now? Wow, fair enough. One thing I have learned about politics is that things shift a lot, and they really, really do. It's been a brutal lesson, and it's been a frustrating lesson as well. I wish I could say that in politics, you are able to be ideologically clean all the way through. But I don't agree now. Now I don't think that. I have seen too many times where in order to have a political movement forward, you will have to sell out, hopefully, just less than 20% of your idealism. I think that's a reasonable figure to me. What I will say, this reminds me of, for example, the abolitionist versus the pro-life position. And abolitionists, Christian abolitionists, effectively are those who say that you should make it illegal and basically put up for murder anyone and everyone who has been engaged in abortion. That's the mother who's killing the baby, that's the health practitioners killing the baby, that's the slice and dices, the whole 9 yards, everyone. Then you've got the pro-lifers who are called incrementalists, and their position is similar to the slavery abolitionists, where they seek to stop abortion, but by constantly restricting the abortive policies so that it can effectively have the same goal as the abolitionist, but a more pragmatic removal. So I think that's, for me, when I think about New Zealand First and it's shifting over the years, that's how I'd go. Yes, I fought against New Zealand First in that 2018 to 2020 part, and I have no regrets at all at fighting them over that, because I felt that they had gone woke and they'd changed their position on things. More than happy to say that they have cleaned it up since that 2020 loss, and they've really cleaned that up, and they've come out with us full force, full strength as well. So very, very happy about that. Users going, no, they're not, Elliot. Wilberforce condemned the gradualist. Not sure about the gradualist. And then stop lying. Hey, well, I don't think I am lying, but maybe I'm wrong. You know, I've looked at this area. I've looked at the Slave Trading Act and the gradual removal of abolishment overall. So, but happy to have that discussion another point. No problem. Kieran, only 20%? Sure, yeah, nah, more like 30-40%. Yeah, man. I mean, I would like to say no, and you know, God willing, if I do end up going back into that environment, I really would like to keep 20%. Now that sellout, perhaps sellout's wrong. Perhaps it's more, anyone who goes into politics will not be able to get 100% of their idealism pushed through. Now I will bring this up because this is where I get really angry at Luxon, who he's there you see him, he's sitting at 17.3% as preferred Prime Minister. Hipkins is on 20.7%. You've got Peters 13.1%, and then Swarbrick and Seymour, they're both on 6.8%. Luxon, the issue, I've sat on stage with Luxon before, and he seemed pretty okay, no problem there. I wouldn't mind having a cup of tea with him at some stage. It's all good in the hood, don't care. Never got any vibes of being forthright in a morally objective manner, which those of us who profess to be of the Christian faith, we do view morality as an objective morality. We know that we breach that morality a lot. We know that we can break it as well, and therefore we should be called out whenever we do breach it. But we hold that there's an objective morality, and that's where you stand. Luxon, as an example, the whole abortion, pro-life element, you know, he doesn't fight for that. He doesn't advocate for that. As far as I'm aware, even in the National Party, he doesn't advocate for that, as in behind closed doors, and they're putting through what their policies might end up going towards. From what I hear, I've got a few ears in there, but from what I hear, he doesn't push the pro-life element very much at all. I mean, at the very least, on the left and in the National Party, they push hard for LGBTQIP plus agenda items. They will push hard for different treatment based off race. They got no problem pushing it. So why can't a Christian, or someone who purports to be a Christian, not stand up for Christian values, of one of which is pro-life areas? So, Karen, absolutely great point. I just have to say, you know, why doesn't Luxon at least stand on something? Stand for anything, really. User, will you be open to come onto a podcast and discuss your support of the regulation of baby murder and how you support this? User, no problem. I've always been okay to talanoa, to chat about stuff. This is something that I think most people who know me know, that I'm okay to talk about pretty much anything. Yeah, happy to do that. No worries. You've seen some deets through, DM me, all good. All right. May I just recommend, if anyone does DM me at the moment, it's probably better trying to go to my Facebook channel, just because I seem to read those messages more. All right. We've got one here from the Dawn of Azazel. New Zealand's biggest issue is the need for coalitions as so many policies that parties campaigned on get thrown out to meet coalition agreements. Chirp from Philip Conroy. Philip Conroy! Would love to have a chat with you, my man. That would be a really great chat, I think. A very good chat. But, I'll see if I can get on to have a chat about that. Look, hey, Monday night had a few movies. We've got some future meetings coming up. But absolutely, totally right. User, thank you. Yep, totally. Let's have a chat about that. I think one of the beautiful things about free speech, one of the reasons why I was very frustrated in youth work near the end of my term there, before I came off the tools, was that people started feeling really, really offended when I was asking questions such as, where is Dad? Where is the father in this young person who we're all here to discuss? Why are we talking around the issue? Why don't we just go straight to it and say, right, what's going on? Where's Dad? What are our charges that we're dealing with? Why don't we just go straight to that? And that's what free speech is so important for, is that things that may seem controversial, may be very offensive, we need to bring this stuff up so that we can make things better in the future for all of our people. It's extraordinary. Quinton, great work, Elliot, and Hobson's Pledge. Very proud to have had a family history that intertwines with Hobson's and early New Zealand settler history. I love it. You've got a hashtag there, Liardit. I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds cool. But nope, awesome, Quinton. Very good. Team, I just wanted to bring up something else before we made it go. The ridiculousness of the government departments. The ridiculousness. We had the parliamentary service who ended up having a little, threw their toys out the cot, and they said, oh, you know what, we're not going to be posting on X anymore. You can come see us on that sexually problematic Blue Sky that has very strong issues with pedophilia and child predatory elements. It's quite fascinating how that's become really strong over there. Ugh, disgusting. But here's the latest. This is from the area of the courts of New Zealand. They are no longer posting updates on X. All right. I've got the wrong one there. I apologize. I'll need to see if I can find that in there. But the courts have now gone to it as well. It's quite shocking how they've now said, nah, Jack, get lost. We'll bring this idea up anyway because it's quite a humorous one to look at. Isn't this the ridiculousness? The ridiculousness of our government sector. We will no longer be posting updates on X. For the latest from the House, follow our other social media platforms or head to Parliament NZ for full coverage. You know, it's when your ideology is so far out there that it just shows you how ridiculous you are. It's extraordinary. There are millions of people on X, and yet they don't. Just see one here from James. You blocked me on X, Elliot. What the? Oh my gosh. I will change that. But I will mention the only times that I block people on anything, if they start having they start either not attacking me, that's okay. But when they start targeting my family, and I don't believe, James, that you would have at all. But the other one is if there is inaccuracies given, and I ask for either a stand down on the inaccuracies that are getting to defamation areas. But James, let me fix that. I will fix that for you. You can get back on and tell me how wrong I am and how Catholicism is everything. All right, awesome team. So this was just a nice little bite-sized chunk. My Monday night musings. I want to actually bring this up later on as well, but this is a nice little area just to have a chat, discussion, throw it out there. Looks like we've got a couple more potties coming up as well, and that's also on TikTok. I've got some people who want to have a chat as well. So, team, thank you so much. Thank you for lending the ear to me as well. Comment further. I do read them. I do make sure that I can have an understanding of them. And my big question is, why is there still a support for Labour Party that is significant? Because I don't get it. I don't understand it. All right, and maybe it is. This is why I didn't want to get passive-aggressive. But it does sound passive-aggressive when I think of that I look at the history and the competency factor of what's going on. All right, but hey, we'll chat again real soon. God bless you. God bless New Zealand.